What's up, Jade? Hey, everybody. It's Squiddy here. Just wanted to say sorry. I'm a few minutes late on the stream. I had something urgent come up. I actually had to run out of the house. And I just got back. So, got back as soon as I could. We are currently in qualifying. This is qualifying for the Pro Mod Championship presented by Bounty Drag Racing. I will throw the event poster up. This is not going to have the normal fancier intro that I normally have because I am like 20 or 30 minutes late to going live. Yeah, thanks, Sanchez. I'm changing that right now. Like I said, I literally walked in the door 5 minutes ago. Can you guys let me know if the title of this stream changed? Refresh if you can, and let me know if the title changed. Please. So thanks for everyone who's tuning in so far. I see I got 37 viewers. So thank you guys for the support. Once again, I am about a half hour late to starting the stream, so apologies for that. Had something urgent IRL, but I am here now. I'm going to try to get as much updates for you guys on what has happened so far here, because we are in qualifying for the Bounty Drag Racing $1,500 Pro Mod Championship race number 1. This is qualifying tonight, and then I believe racing is tomorrow night. I'm going to be streaming that too. Should not have any issues on time with that. So PC is going to run a 3.56 with a 2 at 215 mile per hour. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to be sort of hopping on and off the mic as I get things set up in the background for the broadcast. I literally walked in the door, got on my streaming rig, and went to work, so I am doing this on the fly. All the guys in Twitch, can you let me know, is my mic audio good compared to the car sound? Is the levels okay? Okay. Had a problem. I streamed last night. I had a problem where either my mic was soft compared to the cars on the starting line, or my mic was too loud. So I was just double checking. So PC runs a 3.57 with a 3, 215.65 on the speed. Each competitor is going to get 3 qualifying passes, and then that's it. So qualifying session number 1 is tonight. Race number 1 is tomorrow night at 6. Then qualifying session number 2, not session number 2, qualifying number 2 for race number 2 is February 20th. Race number 2 is February 21st. Qualifying for race number 3 is March 20th, and race number 3 is March 21st. And all of these races and qualifying is going to start at 6 o'clock. Not sure how long I'm going to be live tonight. We have quite a few cars to go through. Thank you, Connor Sanchez and Motoman Dan, for the follows on Twitch. Kari Royalty runs a 3.58 with a 7, 218.3. I just got from our race director that we have 3 ties for number 1. They're all tied at 3.562. 3.562 is your current number 1 qualifying time, and we have 3 racers tied for that time. 3.57 with a 2, 215.65 for PC. And once again, we have 3 qualifying passes for each racer. Once they get their 3 passes in, then they're going to park the car on the trailer for the night. And that's what they're going to have to, those 3 passes are what they get. And then they'll be back out of the trailer tomorrow when we race. The bump is currently at a 3.588. Sorry, my bad. First mistake of the night. The middle of the pack is 3.588 at number 16. I'm going to be getting you guys updated numbers as I get them from Race Control. Currently, 18 racers have qualified. Number 16 is at 3.588. Number 1, which is a 3-way tie, was at 3.65 or 3.562. 32 car, I believe. 32 car field. Dello runs a 3.56 with a 6, 218.1. 9/10 of a second exactly on the 60 foot. We got Crank in the left lane running. I believe we're all running the left lane right now. Singles in the left. Solo passes. Oh, he gets into the center line at about the 300 foot mark. Unfortunately, he comes back into the groove. It just yanks him. As soon as them rear tires hit the groove, he caught a little bit of traction and flew into the wall. Hopefully he's okay. Coming up next is the Chev. Solid pass, almost right down the middle, 3.860, 195. Lost a little bit of speed. It looked like at around the 300 foot mark. Here's Landon. Landon runs a 3.56 with a 7, 217.9, 901 on the 60 foot. So just got an update from race control. Number 16 position, and remember this is a 32 car field. So number 16 just got updated to a 3.577. We will get a bump as soon as we qualify more than 32 cars. I believe we're at 20 or 21 cars right now. Race control is feeding me all this information live, so if I get something wrong, apologies. Kari Royalty, 3.58 with a 2, 218.3. 9/10 on the 60 foot. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in so far. We got 40 people over here on Twitch. .58 with a 218.09 for Nemo. Dello up. Dello runs a 3.57 with a 9, 218.1 miles an hour. If this was a competition eliminator, if this was an eliminator run, he just ran a 0.3 of a second reaction time on that. Wow. Crank stays in the groove. Luckily, he drifted a little bit towards the center line, runs a 3.57, 222.5 miles an hour. 60 foot was 0.897. He got a little bit into the center of the track, or a little bit to the right of his lane. Thankfully, he stayed in the groove, though. Because as soon as you get out of that groove, that gets slicker than pond scum. Landed 3.56 with a 6, 217.94 miles per hour. 900 on the, not margin of victory, 60 foot. What am I talking about? X runs a 3.56 with a 6, 223.2 miles an hour, 0.899 on the 60 foot. So just got from race control. Top 12 qualifiers so far are in the 3.56 range. Top 12 are in the 3.56 range. 3.819. 195.9 for the Chevy. That was his name, not his car. So if you're just tuning in, we're running 3 passes per competitor. They run their passes and then they put it on the trailer. That's how we're doing it. So Nemo, 3.58 with a 3, 218.080. 9/10 on the 60-foot time. So once again, the top 12 are in the 3.56 range. Top 12 qualifiers so far are in the 3.56 second range. Crank, 3.58 with a 4, 222.5. I believe that was his last qualifying pass. And 904.904 on the 60 foot. Here comes X. A lot of heavy hitters in this qualifying and in the race, the championship run, so it should be an exciting one tomorrow, that's for sure. So X, who just pulled off the racetrack, ran a 3.566 at 223 miles an hour on all 3 of his qualifying passes. He had the exact same time and speed on all 3 of them. 3.581, 223 miles an hour. There for Chev. Scrap pulling up. Scrap runs a 3.58 with a 6, 218.18. 60 foot was at 0.895. Whirly up next. .56 with a 4, 223.25. 894 to the 60 foot for him. So thanks to Pandemonium and Crank. Thanks for following me on Twitch. Appreciate the support, guys. Zytro 3.57 with an 8, 216.9. 60 foot was 907. Oop, don't know why my camera was going nuts. Sorry about that. King North, 3.57 with an 8, 224.070. 910 on the 60 foot. There is currently not a bump. We do not have 32 cars qualified yet, and it is a 32-car field according to race control. So as soon as I get the bump, Pandemonium, you guys will be the first to know. Well, second to know. I'm going to know, and then you're going to know is how that's going to work. 3.56 with a 6, 223.67. 894 to the 60 foot. And Scrap pulling up to the line. So if the order of qualifying seems kind of random, it's because basically the competitors take them off the trailer, they come up, they run a pass, they come back up, they run another pass, they come back up, they run another pass, and then they park that thing right back on the trailer. So we can get through as many competitors who want to try to qualify for the race tomorrow as possible. So that's why you'll see the same guys run over and over again back to back sometimes, because we just want to get them through and qualified. There is a lot of people on property right now. Made in Texas, KBR 3.57 with an 8, 214.8 miles an hour, 904 to the 60 foot, I believe. I didn't catch that. My pop-up went away rather quickly. Quick note on the Twitch chat. I do try to keep an eye on it, guys. I only have one monitor, so I have to basically switch between screens constantly. So if you guys put something in the chat, I will try to respond to it as quickly as possible, either by messaging back or by just talking over the stream, over the broadcast. So, Whirly up. .57 with a 2, 223.4 not margin of victory. I keep saying that because it's under the 60-foot mark. 694, or no, I'm sorry, 894 on the 60 foot. If it was 694, that's pretty fast. That would be unnaturally fast for that time. King North up. King North running towards the center line. He stays in the groove and puts down a 3.568 pass. 223.89 miles per hour and 9/10 even on the 60 foot. He got really close to getting out of that prepped surface, out of that groove, and dropping into the center line. When you get off that, it's like frickin' pond scum. The problem you have is you slide when you're off of it, and then when you slide back onto the racetrack, your wheels want to grab, and it usually just catapults you into the wall. Mighty Joe up. .57 with a 7, 223.3 miles per hour, 9:14 on the 60 foot. Bogged down just a little bit on the starting line. That's what dropped that 60 foot time, or put that 60 foot time a little high. Lonzo rolling up to the staging line. Starting line, I'm sorry. So just in from race control, the top 16 are in the 3.56 range. This is extremely close so far in qualifying. The top 16 qualifiers are in the 3.56 range. So if you're just tuning in, we are in qualifying for the Pro Mod Winter Championship race number 1. The actual race is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Qualifying everyone tonight, and then eliminations tomorrow at 6. 3.62 with a 7, 218.17, 60 foot time, .904. Made in Texas. 3.58 with a 214.8. 901 to the 60. Worley runs right down the center of the groove, 3.57 with a 5, 223.27, .911 to the 60 foot. No bump as of yet, guys. No bump as of yet. We're waiting on word from race control when we get our 30-second qualifier. And then as soon as we get that, I will report back to you with the bump. I'll be the first to know, and then you guys will be second to know as soon as I find out. King North. 3.56 with an 8, 224.08, 9/10 on the 60 foot. Mighty Joe rolling into the water box right now. Yeah, so a lot of the cars that you're seeing going down the track right now are the same people doing their 3 runs. So just in case you guys wanted to know, KOD ran a 3.577 and is sitting at number 23. Number 23 qualifier is KOD. Alonzo 3.57 with a 223.05, 899 on the 60 foot. Made in Texas, 3.57, 214.5, 892 to the 60. So this just in from Race Control. You guys were asking, 30 cars have qualified so far. 30 cars have made passes and qualified so far. So as soon as we get that 30-second qualifier locked in, that will get us our bump. And as soon as I get that information, I will let you guys know. As you guys, one guy said in the from Race Control, we're expecting 75 are signed up, so we got quite a ways to go. We're currently sitting at 30 qualified so far. We got 75 total, so 45 more cars to go. Top 17 are in the 3.56 range. Top 17 are now in the 3.56 range. Lonzo runs straight down the middle, 3.56 with a 1, 223.02. 888 on the 60 foot. And we are waiting for the next group of cars. This just in from Race Control. Lonzo jumps to number 1 with a 3.56 with a 1. Lonzo provisional number 1 with a 3.56 with a 1. So we got our next group of cars rolling into the water box right now. First up, Chazzy. We should get Bump in this group. We're after this group, I should say. Chazzy going straight down the left lane, 3.56 with a 9, 218.27 margin, or not margin of victory. I keep saying that. Sorry, guys. 60 foot, 0.932. All right, Drennan up. He was also in last night's stream. Drennan drifting towards the wall, gets out of the groove a little bit, 3.8 even, 198.45. Right before the finish line, he pulled over in that left side of the lane and got out of the groove. Sir Cosmo. 3.54 with an 8. 222.83. And that is not a valid pass, so I take that back. Goopa 3.58 even, 215.85, 911 on the 60 foot. And we got Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter puts down a 3.57 with a 4, 214.13. 60 foot time was 883. Bad Fox rolling up to the line. .57 with a 7, 223.51. Okay, guys, this just in from race control. Bump is a 5.88. Bump is 5.88. Number 32 spot, aka Bump, is 5.88. Oh, I'm sorry, 5.81. Apparently I can't read. Oh, I was right. It just almost immediately went to a 5.81. So new Bump is 5.81. Yeah, 3.581. I'm sorry, Dior. You're correct. 3.581. Drennan, 3.91 with a 6, 192.1. 933 on the 60 foot. Excuse me, guys, if I make mistakes when I'm announcing. Chazzy up. Chazzy runs a 3.56 with a 218.27, 0.896 to the 60 foot. Cosmo 3.58 with a 222.76. So, quick note for everyone on property and anyone watching. Times are provisional because inscriptions will be checked after qualifying. So if you're not signed up or have a paint job violation, you will be removed after qualifying. Once again, times are provisional. Inscriptions will be checked after qualifying. So if someone wasn't signed up or has a paint job violation, they will be removed after the fact. Mighty Joe, I will try to get the video on demand as soon as I can. It takes a little bit to process. And then I basically have to then have it render out to a different streaming service. Bad Fox gets out of the groove a little bit, and then his car just decides it wants to go at a 45. And nice save. He didn't hit the wall, but that was pretty sketchy. Drennan up next. Yeah, no problem, guys. As soon as I can get the VODs up, I will, and I will post the link in the Bounty Discord. Quick note on that. Drennan makes a 3.766 pass, 198.5. Quick note on the VOD. I started streaming about 30 minutes late, so some of the qualifying passes will not be in the VOD. So I just want to point that out. If anyone watching ran before 6:20 or 6:25, around that time, your pass will not be on the video. I started streaming, like I said, about 35 minutes late. Cosmo 3.58 with a 1, 223.05, 915 to the 60 foot. Chazzy up next. Chazzy runs right down the groove, 3.56 even, 218.26. So we'll have to see if that stands. Chazzy goes to number 1 with a 3.560. That is also the cutoff. So he threads the needle, to say it lightly. And goes to number 1. So Big Goopa up next. 3.56 with a 9, 215.8. Bad Fox 3.78 with a 2, 156.8. Bump spot is still the same. I just double checked with race control. Bump spot is still the same. Sway 3.56 with a 6, 224.06. Sir Cosmo, 3.58 with a 222.83. 969 to the 60 foot. Bump is now 3.57 with a 9. Bump is now 3.579. Bad Fox 3.56 with an 8, 223.25, 60 foot, 0.895. Sway 3.56 with a 2, 223.59, 903 to the 60. Fennec 3.68 with a 6, 211.5. Waiting on our next group. Dimitri Acusley and not famous, I think. Yeah, not famous. First up, Dimitri. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, this is qualifying for race number 1 of the Pro Mod Championship, Pro Mod Winter Championship. The race is tomorrow night at 6. Dimitri runs a 3.57 with a 7, 217.6. Acusley up next. Acusley drifting towards the center line. 3.56 with a 6, 223.78. 9/10 on the 60 foot. I'm just going to call them light up. 3.56 with a 9, 223.41. Up next, we got Not Famous. Not Famous Dan. .58 with a 213.1 miles per hour. 0.9 on the 60 foot. So Lamar, 3.57 with a 4, 218.29 not margin. I keep saying margin of victory. 60 foot time, 0.897. Sorry guys, margin of victory is like directly under 60 foot, the actual 60 foot time on the slip, and I keep reading it like that every like 20 passes. Because apparently I can't read right now. Okay, bump just changed to a 3.57 with a 7. Colin runs a 3.56 with a 6, 223.16, 902 to the 60 foot. Once again, bump just changed to 3.57 with a 7. Bump is 3.57 with a 7. So, number 1 through number 23 qualifier is now in the 3.56 range. Number 1 through number 23 is in the 3.56 range. Number 1 qualifier is Chazzy with a 3.560, which is literally the cutoff. And then the bump is 3.576. And now the top 24 are now in the 3.56 range. Dimitri, 3.56 with a 7. 217.64 miles per hour, 9/10 to the 60 foot. Not Famous Dan back up again for another go at it. Bump is now a 3.574. Bump is now a 3.574. Yeah, pretty much. It's looking like if you guys aren't running, if they aren't running a 3.56 range, they're not making it in. We are now 6 cars away from a all 3.56 field. 1 through 24 is inside that. Number 1 qualifier so far, provisional qualifier, and all the qualifying rankings right now are provisional as we are checking for inscriptions, and paint job violations. But the number one qualifier provisionally so far is Chazzy with a 3.560, which is the cutoff. And the bump is 3.57 with a 4. That's position 32. It's a 32 car field. The top 24 are within the 3.56 range, which for me is exciting because that means that tomorrow, the way it looks like, tomorrow the entire field is going to be in that range, and we're going to have some really, really close races. We're going to have a lot of hole shots. I'm guessing now, because I'll be back tomorrow to stream the actual race. But I'm going to take a guess tonight that we will see a lot of hole shot wins tomorrow, as close as this field is. Colin runs a 3.56 even, 223.160. We're currently validating that run. If it stands, then Colin might jump to number 1. We just got to check the mile per hour and make sure that he ran faster than Chazzy. Okay, so via mile per hour being higher, Colin is now the number 1 provisional qualifier. He ran a 3.560 even and beat Chazzy's speed. True Street 3.56 with a 223.040. 902 to the 60 foot. Dan runs a 3.58 with a 213.1. So this just in from race control. 3.573 is now the bump. 3.573 is the number 32 qualifier right now. The top 27 qualifiers are all within the 3.56 second range. The top 27 are in that 3.56 range. Lamar 3.56 with a 7. 218.16. 60-foot time, 8:98. Colin 3.56 with a 4, 223.12. So up next, we have Dimitri. Dimitri 3.56 with a 6, 217.64 mile an hour. Drew Street 3.56 with a 7. So, race control, just let me know. We are around halfway through the cars. Based off of the amount of people that signed up. So we got our next group of cars in. Slayer runs a 3.57 with a 9, 222.5, 916 to the 60 foot. Up next we have Blur. Rolls into the starting line. Blur runs a 3.56 with a 9, 217.35, 0.896 to the 60 foot. Seventh out on the tree. If this was eliminations, he would have just smoked somebody. According to Race Control, the bump is still 3.57 with a 3, and the top 27 competitors are all in the 3.56 range. And just a reminder, this is provisional qualifying. After qualifying, we are going to go through and check everyone who signed up and make sure that their paint job is legal. And that they're actually supposed to be racing. Zapp's Brat up next. Of course, as soon as I put the mic down for like 5 seconds, Zaps says hello to the wall and has a little crash, so hopefully he's okay. Yeah, Duke, we are about halfway through cars right now, just over halfway. So if you want to get in and you are signed up for the event, to get in, you have to be locked in. You have to be inscribed and locked into the event. But if you are, get in here as soon as you can. We are like slightly over halfway through the amount of cars we're running. Chago runs a 3.56 with a 217.39, 883 to the 60. .570 is the bump now. 3.570 is bump. you guys are wondering why I'm quiet, it's just me in the booth tonight. I don't have my co-announcer that sometimes helps me out. And just got pizza brought over here, so I'm going to eat some pizza. As soon as I scarf down some pizza, I will be right back on the mic. Or if race control lets me know something cool happened. So I'm back. The pizza was very good, if you guys are going to ask that. Anyway, the bump, the 32 spot, is the only car that is not in the 3.56 range. 1 through 31 are in the 3.56 range. The bump is currently 3.570. .56 with a 6. 217.43 and 883 to the 60 foot. So Machiavellico ran the identical same ET and mile per hour in all three of their qualifying efforts. Same exact ET and mile per hour. They ran a 3.566 at 217.43 in all three passes. So we got our next group of cars pulling up. So you guys are just starting to watch, just tuning in. We are running a couple groups of cars. We're running groups of cars at a time. They're coming in, they're running 3 qualifying efforts, and then they're done. They put the car on the trailer, and if they make it into tomorrow, then they get to take the car back out of the trailer. So NSB lockdown up. .7 even, 211.28 for their first pass. Up next, A21. 3.73 even, 218.3, 1.101 to the 60 foot. Hell's Bells up next. Yeah, bump is still a 3.570 as of right now. Hell's Bells 3.57 with a 4, 217.920. And as of right now, so cars 1 through 31, competitors 1 through 31 that have qualified so far, once again, it's provisional, are within the 3.56 range. The only one that's not is the bump. And as soon as I get the word, from our race official that the bump has changed or something else changes, you guys will be the first to know. So 3.57 with a 7, 218.36 mile an hour, 0.897 to the 60 foot. And up comes Lockdown. Hopefully he made some adjustments. Does a pretty decent burnout. Back in the pits, we talked to him. He apparently forgot to install his power adder before he came out onto the track. And then realized it, put it on, and he's going to run a 3.57 with a 6, 224 miles an hour, 0.935 to the 60. I do not know what Wild Style is doing, but Hell's Bells is waiting. I don't think he realized that we made it very clear that the left lane was the only lane that we were using for qualifying, and he just pulled into the right lane and immediately crosses the center line. Runs a 5.538. at a whopping 78.47 miles per hour. And Hell's Bells does a burnout and backs up. .58 with an 8, 217.82. So, KOD has an inscription list for the race. You were supposed to sign up and get it inscribed that you were racing in this event in the Pro Modified Winter Championship. And I'm going to let you know now, and we did before, that if you are not on the inscription list and you are trying to qualify tonight, your qualifying runs will be thrown out and you will be removed. You had to have signed up by the deadline and been put on the sign-up sheet, the inscription list, whatever you want to call it. You had to sign up. If you miss that deadline and you try to run tonight, your runs are going to be thrown out and you will be removed from the qualifying sheet. And we are going to check that. The race officials will check that following qualifying. So just please, please, please make sure that you are actually on the list. Blurry 3.58 with a 3, 214.2, 884 to the 60 foot. Willie makes his own lane again. And is now just sitting at about, I don't know, 400 feet down the track. 500 feet down the track. Now 1,000 feet. 3.561 in for Hell's Bells, 217.91. And I don't think he can park there. I mean, at least the lane's shut down, so it's not really hurting anything, I guess. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Hell's Bells, we need you back to the staging lanes for verification. Hell's Bells Racing, we need you back to the staging lanes for verification. Blurry 3.58 with a 3, 213.9, 883 to the 60 foot. So this just said from race control, bump is still 3.570. Bump is still 3.570. That is the last person to not be in the 3.56 range. Flash 3.57 with a 3. Flash 3.57 with a 2, 222.92, 0.905 to the 60. So Hell's Bells doing another pass for verification. 3.57 with a 4, 217.93. 60-foot time was 0.906. So Hell's Bells is going to get another pass. Yeah, you don't show up with a motorcycle to a Pro Mod championship qualifier. That's great. So Hell's Bells coming up for another verification pass. We're just trying to check his numbers. And this will be his second verification pass. Does a nice smoky burnout to about 150 feet out. .6 even. So the bump is a 3.570. Bump is still 3.570. Jeff gets a little sideways there, just a tad, and runs a 3.582 at 222.7 miles per hour. Then we have Hell's Bells back for pass 3. .561, 217.87. Jet back for another pass. .559 with a 9, 222.36, 60 foot, 933. Duchess up next. Actually, no, I don't believe. Yeah. What's with people and showing up without a Pro Mod? It's called the Pro Mod Championship, and you don't show up with a Pro Mod. So, that's a funny name, John Doe. So this just in from race control. The bump is 3.56 with a 9. Bump is 3.56 with a 9, which means the entire 32 car field that have provisionally qualified here today so far is now in the 3.56 range. The entire field is within 3.56. Starting with Colin in number 1 at a 3.560, who took the top spot from Chazzy due to a higher mile per hour, ran the exact same time, just ran a little faster. And the bottom, the 32 bump spot is Bluxer at 3.569. And I also got word, little fun fact, this is the first official event in the history of Bounty Drag Racing where the entire field is within the same range. That range being 3.56. Some trouble in the left lane, or the qualifying lane. T. Cook makes it about 100 feet out. It didn't sound right from the get-go, and has some major issues. Jet coming back for their final pass, their third and final pass. .61 with the 6, 222 miles per hour. And I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, that will not be enough to get him in. Up next, Big Chungus. Chungus 3.58 with a 1, 213.99, 898 on the 60 foot. John Doe runs a 3.58 with a 2, 222.95, 916 to the 60 foot. So we're getting down to what should be the last couple groups of cars. We're estimating about 10 or 15 cars left to qualify. Wheels up to about the, holy macaroni. Wheels up to like the 400 foot mark, 3.625, 221 miles an hour. And here comes John Doe for his third and final pass. 3.54 with a 9, but that is too fast. Non-valid. So Doe has 2 runs left. I'm sorry. Big Chungus. .56 with a 6. 214 miles an hour. .58 with a 3, 222.96. And lit up is now the bump at 3.56 with a 9. Maybe King North. I'm glad somebody appreciated that save. Don't want to say bad words on stream. .58 with a 3, 222.98. 916 to the 60 foot. And coming back up is Chungus. So just a reminder, if you guys, anyone who's watching who's also racing, if you guys are running or have ran tonight, you have got to make sure that you are on the participant list that was posted in the official events area and the list that KOD has. If you are not on the participant list, the inscription list, your runs will be thrown out. Also, following qualifying, we will be verifying paint jobs as well. If you have an illegal paint job that is breaking the rules that were set by KOD, you will also be disqualified. So this is the 3rd time I've made this announcement. So you've had plenty of time. If anyone hears this one, you've had 3 opportunities to double check. So at the end, if your run gets thrown out or you get disqualified because of the inscription list or your paint job, you can't say we haven't told you. I've announced it 3 times at least. Wheels up to the 330, and Jay runs a 3.60 with a 9, 222.05, 933 to the 60 foot. So once again, the bump is 3.56 with a 9, and that's light up or lit up. We're down to our final couple groups of cars. And for the first time, in case you missed it, for the first time in the history of official events for Bounty Drag Racing, the entire field is within the range of 3.56. The top spot is at a 3.560. The bottom spot is at a 3.569. So, thank you to Exodus, Yoke, the Bee's Knees, Wills, Powder House, Madden, and Fat Albert. Thanks for following me. I've been trying to keep up with that. And you're welcome for the stream, sir. So, Duke Nation rushed home from work to be here, and he was able to make it in, so we'll see what he can do. We will see. 3.58 with a 223.3 miles an hour, 919 to the 60. Pulling up to the water box is Connor. If you guys are in the pit area, if you guys have your cars out of the trailer and you're in the pit area, please make your way to the staging lanes so we can run you through, okay? So we can run you down the track, get your passes out of the way, and make room. So Connor, 3.57 with a 7, 223.14, 0.9 on the 60 foot. Attention in the pits. T. Cook, we need you to the staging lanes immediately. Attention in the pits. T. Cook, we need you in the staging lanes immediately to make your qualifying passes. So Duke with his second pass, 3.56 with a 4, 223.22, 898 to the 60. And Duke coming back right up for pass 3. I believe. Once again, intention in the pits. Cook, we need you to the front of staging immediately. Cook, we need you to the head of staging immediately. Duke coming up for his third pass. .57 with a 1, 223.2, 905 to the 60 foot. Connor coming back up. That's just in. Lit up, bumped out. Provega, new bump. Still at 3.569. So, lit up is out. Provega is the new bump. So we keep bumping people out because a mile per hour. First it was Bluxer, then he got bumped out, and then it was Lit Up, and then Lit Up just got bumped out, and now it's Provega. Connor comes back up, and I don't know if his throttle stuck or what happened, but he's all over the place. So Connor 3.610, 209.84. So Pro Vega's speed that pushed him into the bump and pushed Lit Up out was 223.65 miles an hour. So Pro Vega's 223.65 beat out Lit Up's 223.41, and the previous bump before Lit Up was Bluxer, and he had 217. So it went 217. Now, mind you, the bump was 3.569 the whole time. Bluxer or Blurks had 217, then Lit Up beat him with the 223.41, and then Pro Vega with the 223.65. Corbin did a burnout. He's backing up. Thanks again to everyone who is tuning in on the Twitch. It is appreciated. Corbin 3.57 with a 215.84 miles an hour, 0.886 to the 60 foot, I'm sorry. And up next is Antics. You're just tuning in. We are down to the last bit of cars here at qualifying for race number 1 of the Pro Mod Winter Championship presented by Bounty Drag Racing. Antics straight down the middle, and he's going to run a 3.558. And that is a little too fast. So up next, Ryder. .686, 185.9, and 916 to the 60 foot. So the Pro Mod Winter Championship presented by Bounty Drag Racing is sponsored by the following sponsors: MTKB Racing, True North Residential Construction, Straight Line Media, Atlas Race Parts, Reese Brothers Race Cars, Sunset Performance Engines, Practice Tree, Drag Tuner, Chase It Racing Apparel, JD Tuning Motorsports, and KSH Snake Catchers. Thank you to the sponsors that make all this possible and make Bounty Drag Racing possible. And a reminder while we wait for him to back up that round 1 of eliminations for the Pro Mod Winter Championship race number 1 is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Coverage starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm probably going to put the stream up a few minutes early. Corbin running straight down the middle again, 3.58 with a 3. That's 215.57 to in terms of speed. I'm sorry. Brain fart. Also, a really important shout out to KOD, who created this incredible drag racing simulator and is putting on these events for you all. I'm just the broadcasting part of it. The behind the scenes stuff on the racer side is KOD and True North. KOD is our race official, and True North is our host and safety official. Okay, this just in from race control. Bump is now 5.68, courtesy of Bad Fox. Bump is now 3.568. So that means our number one qualifier is a 3.560, and that was Colin, who bested another brain fart. That was Colin, who bested Chazzy earlier with the better mile per hour. And then the bottom spot, the bump, is now 3.568. So that means from the number one qualifier to the number 32 qualifier, there is only an 8,000th of a second difference. 8,000. The entire field so far, and like I said, this is all provisional, but the entire field so far is within 8,000ths of a second from each other. Rider up. He's going to bump into the beams. Goes towards the center line, and that 3.694, 177.2. Unfortunately, that no man's land out there in the center of the track has been eating up a lot of people today. Once you leave the groove, once you leave the prepped part of the racing surface and you drop out of that, it gets extremely slick. And then usually what happens is you lose traction, and then you go back, you swerve and you go back into traction, and it catapults you at Mach 10, that's a joke by the way, into the wall. So we got Antics bumping in right now. And he's going to run a 3.56 with a 9. Vortex. Bumping in. 3.58 with a 223 miles an hour, 901 to the 60 foot. Okay, attention in the pits. If you have not raced if you have not qualified yet, if you have not made a qualifying effort yet, please come to the staging lanes immediately. Please join and come to the staging lanes immediately. I am going to make 3 calls. If you are on the list of people that are supposed to be racing tonight, qualifying tonight, and you have not made a pass, please join and come to the staging lanes now. Okay, this just in from race control. Attention in the pits. If you have not qualified yet, you have 20 minutes to get in here. Lanes are going to close at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp. 9 o'clock sharp. They are closing. So if you do not get in here, you will not have a chance to qualify. Also, this is a provisional qualifier. I've said this 3 other times. If you qualify tonight, we will be inspecting your paint job and whether you are on the inscription / list of people that should be running. If you are not on the list, and or you have a illegal paint job, which the rules were very clear on paint jobs, you will be disqualified. And I'm going to say it one more time. Only join if you have signed up to participate in this race, or to qualify, I should say. If you did not sign up to enter into the Pro Modified Championship, the Winter Pro Mod Championship, you should not be attempting a pass. So, Nick, 3558, which is too fast. So a 3.560. So, Big Blue Nation off 3.57 with a 6, 222.78, 910 to the 60 foot. And Sonix coming up for another run. And that's going to be too fast. This just in from race control. The bump is now King North. 3.568. The bump is now King North. Sonix runs too fast again. All right, so Sonic is coming up again. We'll see if he lowered his tune enough to where he slowed it down a little bit, so we can get a solid legal pass out of him. .559. 456. 213. Sonix coming up again. So far, has had one legal pass. Let's see if he can get another one. .59 with the 3. .59 with the 3. Not valid. The official says that that run is not valid. .61 with a 3, 212.94. .929 to the 60-foot mark. Okay, last call. Attention in the pits. Last call to the staging lanes. If you are entered in to race in the $1,500 Winter Pro Mod shootout, you are on the inscription list. You are entered in, and you have not made a qualifying effort tonight. Join now and head immediately to the staging lanes. You have 5 minutes. Lanes close at 9 p.m. sharp. Once again, you have to have entered in to be eligible to race in the championship series. If you did not enter in prior to tonight, you are not able to run. 5 minutes, and we will close lanes. 5 minutes. Once again, guys, if you have entered in to be in the Pro Mod Winner Shootout, or Winner Championship, I should say, and you have not ran tonight, you have 3 minutes to get in here. We are closing the lanes in 3 minutes at 9 o'clock sharp. If you join and run without an inscription, after qualifying, we will be verifying that you have an inscription. If you do not, your run will get thrown out and you will be disqualified. .59 with a 213.420. 9/10 of a second on the 60 foot. If anyone gets disqualified because they don't have a proper inscription, I'm going to be very disappointed. I've announced it literally like 8 or 9 times tonight. I've been live for almost 3 hours. So the current bump is King North. The previous bump was Bad Fox, and the difference between them was 223.25 for Bad Fox, and King North ran a 223.89 to take the bump and bump Bad Fox out. Cello 3.60 with the 3, 213.6. Attention in the pits. Lanes are now closed. It is 9 o'clock. Lanes are now closed. Attention in the pits. If you have not qualified, lanes are now closed. So we did get verification from the race official that the lanes are closed now. So once we run these next two cars, or whoever needs to run that's already here, we should be done. Redneck runs a 3.58 with a 3. Redneck 3.5, someone with a 7, 223.56. 60-foot time was .905. So once Redneck makes his final pass, we should be complete here at qualifying for the Winter Pro Mod Championship race number 1. .57 with a 223.2, 0915 to the 60 foot. Okay, so we are officially done with qualifying here at race weekend number 1 for the 2026 Winter Pro Mod Championship presented by Bounty Drag Racing. So what's going to happen now is the officials for the race are going to check text, inscriptions, and stuff like that. The ladder, the final qualifying and the ladder will be posted around midnight Once the officials are able to verify everything, it will be posted on the Bounty Drag Racing Discord. So, as far as racing, or as far as qualifying tonight, that's none. Tomorrow, or tonight at 12 in the morning, midnight, we should get the ladder. And then at 6 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, that is, will be race 1 of the Winter Pro Mod Championship. I will probably go live around 5:50, just to give me a chance to get everything set up. Tonight I was about 30 minutes late for streaming, so I was kind of rushing to get stuff done behind the scenes while I was initially streaming like the first 20 minutes of what I was doing. So tomorrow's stream should be a lot more organized and should be even better than tonight's. So huge thank you to True North for hosting the qualifying session. Huge thanks to KOD for hosting the event, like creating this event. And thank you to the sponsors on the bottom of your screen who make stuff like this possible alongside KOD. So that'll do it for me tonight. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you, like I said, at 5:50 p.m. EST tomorrow night for race number 1. Have a good night, everyone.